Okay, 1967 plus plate blocks. So this is more, we get more modern with the material here. So in the beginning here, these have collector value. The Lucy Stones, this set goes up to the $5. But as you get further and further along in the years, they become less collectible and more used for postage, face value.
So that one's just getting older.
Yeah, and then, oh, this is older, so this is 19...
I mean, it's getting...
Newer, yeah. It's tough how that works. Right, okay, so yeah, exactly the same. It's getting more modern.
Yeah, there are a couple of European in there.
Okay, and it looked like there were some actual postage dues in the back.
Yeah. I had a lot of European colonial stamps before the country went independent.
Right.
And I was doing my own collecting, so that's like anybody that's a stamp collector really wouldn't appreciate what somebody was doing when they were 15 years old. And this is what I did here. If you want to stay with the albums and not go to first day covers,
yeah, the first day covers are kind of
everybody's got them.
Yeah. It's tough, you know, we don't even buy first day covers anymore. You know, their value has just, unless we're talking about the early, 1910s, 20s, 30s, sometimes when they didn't even put first day cover on the first day covers, the values have deteriorated to the point where 50s, 60s, 70s first day covers are becoming a lot more common. There's still a market for 30s, 40s first day covers, 20s as well, but it's unless you're talking really kind of early material first day covers, we can't even buy them anymore. We've just got too many.
So what are you actually looking for?
Rarity. So, at a certain point, it just becomes memorizing catalogs. You see the same stamps over and over and over again, and you recognize that the things that you're seeing more and more, the common items, you kind of tune out. So when we flip through an album like this, or we flip through an album like this, all we're doing is we're essentially just scanning the common stamps. And what we're looking for is anything that kind of stands out to us as something that's more rare. These are all, this whole page is more common. And of course it becomes difficult because you can't know everything. The whole thing is just essentially memorizing catalogs and memorizing sets and singles and varieties. And it's not until you get into something that's highly specialized do you begin researching it.
Okay, you flip through this though and put it back. These are covers?
So yes, these are Great Britain number 33. They're perforated. They're the penny reds. So there's a couple different plate numbers that are scarcer, but for the large part, this stamp is incredibly common. So this is another penny red here, but this is on a morning cover. So you see the black border here. It's essentially telling the person who's receiving the letter that bad news is awaiting them inside the letter. The black border here lets them know that to kind of prepare themselves, sit down. This is not going to be anything that you're looking forward to hear. And that's what they would do is they'd put these black borders around the envelopes.
I think that's part of the family too.
Yeah, and this is again is a penny red here, Great Britain number 33. It's issued in millions of them. So these albums like this are we see these often as well. Years ago these albums used to make $70, $80, $100 maybe. Now, the common material has kind of moved in such a way that collections like this, we find that people more and more want individual stamps, or they want to build their own collections. So collections like this have kind of reduced in value. So this, 10 years ago used to make $70, $80, $100. Now we see it making $50, $60. But that's not a relation to the stamp market in itself. because we're seeing a trajectory where individual sets and singles of high quality are really increasing in value over time. But what we're seeing is collection lots that are pre-built, pre-made. Unless it has something significant in it, the new collectors that are coming into the hobby are looking to build their own legacy with their stamps.
Those block stamps are,
These people buy stuff like this all day long. These have held their value. The people will buy them as postage. This album was $50 10 years ago. It's still $50. It could even be $60. But these collections have decreased in value. So we're seeing the lower tier material drop and the mid and the higher tier material increase.
I think part of what you're saying too is that the generation that passed these things down to doesn't want them.
Yeah.
And people, myself, or even my children, want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And they think that there's a value to them. So you're seeing a lot of it.
Yes, there's a huge influx of this kind of material into the market because the past generations would collect this way and they'd stick stamps into here with hinges. That's how people used to collect, 50, 60 years ago. This is what they do 70, 80 years ago. So we're seeing a ton of these collections come onto the market, and this isn't how people collect anymore. So these kinds of collections, have really come down in value. It's quite unfortunate, but it's interesting to see the shift in how people are collecting.
And it's understandable. So I spent some time with Scott. So what should I really look at there? I mean, they've got multiple values in it.
Yeah, it really depends because this stamp would be 5-10%, but other stamps 200%, 100% of catalog value. We had a sale just a few days ago where stamps were making U.S. stamps, never hinged, we're making 300% of catalog value. It really depends on the condition. Catalog value essentially means in Scott that the stamp will sell for this if graded in XF condition. Superb gem is supposed to be higher than that. So they're saying for this, let's go to a more understandable country, or one where the values are more straightforward. So they're saying that this Denmark number 4, 325 in XF, mint, never hinged, $650. So are the majority of Denmark number 4s going to make that? No, absolutely not. I mean, 15, 20%. That's what we're seeing across the board. But if you've got an XF condition one, and people use the guides in the front of the book to figure out what XF means here, because they kind of define it.
Which edition is that?
This is the 2023 of the Classics catalog. So the front of the Scott catalog, different countries, fine, very fine, extremely fine. So actually, they're saying very fine. Scott catalog's value stamp in this grade, very fine. So this is what the stamp is supposed to sell for. This US number 2. If you've got a US number 2 that looks exactly like that, they're saying, what's the catalog value of that now? Like 900 exactly. If you've got a US number 2 in that condition, Scott Catalog is saying that it's supposed to sell for $900. But it's not always the case, it depends on the country. It depends on the scarcity of the item.
So
Is this, 1 cent here gonna sell for $35 in this condition? Not in America.
it depends on the buyer.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. It's just I rely on the Concord, Massachusetts library. I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, you can pick up used copies of these on eBay or Hip Stamp or online. Used copy, a 2020 version, a 2019 for a fraction of the price, and it's a fantastic guide. The people who need the most up-to-date catalogs are the dealers and the auctioneers. The general collector, unless they're looking to sell their collection, they're looking to catalog it. An older version of this will be just fine. You know, the information from year to year doesn't change too much. The only thing that changes is that they add new things, not to the classics catalog, but they'll add new things and change the market values.
Basic books. We've seen 1,000 of these.
Oh, UN. UN is difficult because it used to be worth something years ago, and there's still societies dedicated to UN collecting, and there's still rare UN stamps. I don't know UN as well as I should, but you know, an intact, complete UN collection, mint, never hinged, from number 1 to, you know, to current, maybe $400 or $500.
What were you hoping to find when you came here today?
Us? This is really a service we were providing to the people in the area and to the museum itself. You know, we exist as a company, but we exist also to kind of help collectors realize the material that they have. If someone has something that they don't know, if it's valuable, we can help guide them, whether it be to donate it to the museum or consignment or outright purchase. It's or pass it on to their kids, or some people are just looking for appraisals so that they can figure out what to claim on their insurance for their collections. So it's really just a service that we wanted to provide to people and advertise, because it's Sunday, and what better thing to do than spend our day appraising stamps.
You understand there are 2 seasons in New England, August and winter. So you spend your
I know, this is
last
prime.
weekend.
This is prime August.
Better come from there, I don't know.
Well, I hope I've provided at least some guidance. So why don't I introduce you to my father?
Yep.
And he can help you with the coins.